Mater Dei still remains the #1 team in high school football, but can they stay there this week after going head-to-head with #8 Servite? Now, so far this season, Mater Dei has won each of their games by at least 21 points and has scored at least 42 points of their own in every single match. So take a look at the standings from our friends at MaxPreps. No changes to the top 25 this week. The top 25 teams going 21-0 last week, all of them winning by double digits. One of the closest games, we will point out, that was IMG Academy beating St. Thomas More 24-14. So that is 1 through 10 when it comes to 11 through 25. Chandler sitting at 11. Didn't play last week, but they do have a big matchup this week against another 6-0 team in Queen Creek. And St. Thomas Aquinas still at 15. They have now won their 6th consecutive game after they lost a while ago to #13 Jesuit. Let's welcome in our good friends at MaxPreps, Zack Poff, Steve Montoya here. Zach, we're going to start with you. Mater Dei still #1, but it is a tough test this week against Servite. Mater Dei has dominated this series as of late, but can they continue to do that this week?
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up. They've dominated this season series. You got to go all the way back to 2011. That's the last time that Servite beat Mater Dei. But this is a totally different Servite team. We saw in the matchup last spring, Mater Dei won by 1 score, and Servite had a chance at the end to tie the game. David Bailey made a great play and forced a sack fumble on Noah Fafita. But I think this is going to be another 1-score game coming up on Saturday. I mean, you just compare the two teams. They're very similar this year. Mater Dei 6-0. They've won every game by 21 points. They're winning by an average margin of 42 points per game. But then you look at Servite, they're 8-0, and they have not trailed at any point yet this season, and they're winning by 38 points per game. So this is going to be a fun matchup, and I think Servite might end up giving Mater Dei a bigger test than St. John Bosco did a couple weeks ago. Both teams have great quarterbacks, but what it's going to come down to is who wins in the trenches. I love Mater Dei's offensive line, but I also love Servite's defensive line led by Michigan commit Mason Graham. He's got over 10 sacks this year. So this is going to be a fun game. And I know, Amanda, you love me giving those picks, but we're going to have to wait till Friday for this one. But if I had to say right now, I'm probably leaning towards Mater Dei, but I think Servite is going to make this one close next Saturday. And also, too, real quick, I want to point out that if Servite does beat Mater Dei on Saturday, they get St. John Bosco the following week. So if they win those 2 games, there's no way I can't put Servite at #1.
I thought you were about to say there's no way that you wouldn't show up without your popcorn, which Brandon Baylor pointed out to you on social media. We'll get into that a little bit later here. But Steve, let's talk about #4 Thompson as its biggest test of the season so far this weekend in Hoover. You guys said, Zach sent us some notes that if they can get a statement win here, they could be also in the mix to finish the season at #1.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to have them right in that mix. They are just absolutely dominating teams right now. 448 points is what they've scored. They've only allowed 26 points total. So that's 5 shutouts. And every game they've at least scored 40 points, but you're going up against Hoover, and Hoover has won 13 state titles. I mean, none since 2017, but you're talking about #1 in the state going up against #2. If you're an old timer like me, I mean, you remember Hoover, 2-a-days. I mean, none of the kids that are on Hoover's team now were even born when 2-a-days was on MTV, but Hoover's one of those popular schools around the country, and they know how to play football. And this is going to be a classic matchup in the state of Alabama. But like Zach said, if Thompson can come out here and roll this game, win their 27th game in a row, Thompson's right there in the mix for the top team in the country.
Zach, #11 Chandler, big one this week against Queen Creek, also 6-0, one of the best teams in Arizona. And I will say in my notes here, it says first loss coming for #11 Chandler. Do you really think that's true?
Oh, no. I think I got Chandler winning this game. The last time they lost, you got to go all the way back to the season opener in 2018 against Corona Centennial. That Corona Centennial team down in SoCal had Gary Bryant Jr. at wide receiver, who's now at USC. And on the defensive line, you had Corey Foreman and Drake Jackson. So you got to have guys like that if you want to knock off Chandler. Chandler's been the best team in Arizona the last 5 years. They're the 5-time defending state champs. If Chandler is going to lose this year, it's going to come in their regular season finale against Nico Markiel and one of the top-ranked teams in the country in Hamilton High School. I think they're at #16 right now. got too much going on. I can't remember exactly where that, but I think they're at 16. But that's going to be the time that Chandler could potentially lose. But, Chandler gets some big news coming this week, too. You got 2022 Ohio State commit Keon Gray's coming back, a 4-star wide receiver. This dude's a big-time playmaker. And Blaine Heapa, this dude's been putting on this year. He's a 3-star quarterback, a senior. He's thrown for 300+ in 3 consecutive games. And I think he's going to make it 4. And I think they're going to beat Queen Creek on Friday and give them their first L of the season.
All right, so they get the first loss of the season. Finally, Steve, let's jump to number 22, Dutch Fork out of South Carolina. They have won 5 consecutive 5A state titles. How impressive have they been as of late?
Yeah, this is a team that has just been unbelievable. Really, they're 72-2-1 since 2016, 31 straight wins, and all they do is win. I mean, like you've mentioned, they've won 5 consecutive 5A state titles. I mean, that's how more impressive can you get than that? Kids like Antonio Williams, he's a 4-star wide receiver in the class of 2022. He's uncommitted right now. He has 8 touchdown receptions, and they're scoring over 56 points per game, just allowing 12. Their offense has just been on fire. So Dutch Fork is just a flat-out winner, and I do not see them losing anytime soon. You're seeing footage right here of Antonio Williams, their big-time wide receiver. They also have a kid, Jarvis Green, a junior running back. He's averaging over 10 yards per carry, 18 touchdowns on the season. So Dutch Fork in South Carolina making things happen.
It's going to be a big, exciting week. No movement in the top 25 this week, but we'll see if it happens after this upcoming weekend. It very well may be. Zack Poff, Steve Montoya, thank you guys so much for joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. We will talk to you on Friday. And you can hear much more from our good friends over there at MaxPreps for the latest rankings. It's really fascinating just to see how they break down each of these teams. Make sure to check it out at MaxPreps.